find myself fascinated by and also interested in more affordable guitars when, you know, you look at the pictures, you look at what it has to say, and you think to yourself, okay, well, there actually might be something more here. I mean, you can kind of tell a lot about a guitar even in the pictures. You just can. Not everything, but you can see it and you can tell a lot. And when it looks like, you know, this actually looks like it could be a decent instrument, I get interested in that. And I start thinking, well, maybe I should get it. And if I don't like it, sell it, but I'll get it and see if I like it, see if it can be something more. And that is kind of the circumstance with, excuse me, with what's going on in this video. For transparency, VANGOA, the company, did reach out to me. They sent me an email wanting me to review a mini pedal. I have that mini pedal and I may do a video of it at some point, but I kind of emailed back and I'm like, you know, let's do a bass or a guitar or something. Let's do something a little more interesting. You know, I'm so tired of reviewing cheap pedals. Guys, I have so many cheap pedals in this cabinet over here. One just fell on the ground and I don't even care. So, I'm tired of doing cheap pedals. I'd much rather review a guitar or a bass. Let me say a couple things real quick before we get started. Number one, welcome to the Rumblin' Man YouTube channel. I'm Rumblin' Man, for those who don't know. This is a guitar and bass channel where we review equipment as relates to guitar and bass. We're informative. I try to keep it relevant. And at the same time, I try to keep it honest. If there's an issue, I try to let you know about it. Or if something is awesome, I try to let you know about it. I try to be balanced in that way. So if you want some good gear reviews and some good insight, then go on and click subscribe to this channel, okay? Also, if you are a return viewer, if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be awesome, because then YouTube will be more likely to show people this video. Here's another thing I want to mention real quick. If you're wanting the specs on this guitar, go somewhere else. There are other video reviews of these VANGOA Strats on YouTube, and some of them mention the specs. I do mention specs in my reviews when I feel that the specs are important, but I just don't feel that the specs are important in this case, because I'm going to give you a balanced opinion. It's a well-calculated opinion, and I did have others give input as well. But this is more of an opinion video, kind of giving you the answer to two questions about this VANGOA guitar. Number one, is it a good beginner guitar? Is it good for someone who's just beginning to play and wants to learn on? Okay, that's question number one. Question number two is, can it be something more? Is it a pretty dang good budget instrument that you could upgrade and turn into an awesome axe? We're going to answer that question as well. So obviously we got this cool Strat style body with this really sweet finish, and it just looks really nice. I really love that color. Pretty standard, you know, white pick guard here that looks to be 3-ply. Very standard electronics. These pickups are the most cheap, basic ceramic Strat pickups you can find. Okay, the electronics work, but they're just okay. You know, there's a little noise with the switcher, little noise with the knobs, things like that. On the back, the back plate is pretty cool. The VANGOA logo looks nice. I do like it when back plates are layered with plastic like this. I think that's a nice extra touch, okay? This neck is maple, and it is a satin kind of finish, which I always, in my videos, I try to tell you about the finish of the neck, because that's, to me, one of the most important things about a guitar. That's what your hand is going to have contact with 24/7. So it's a satin finish neck. It's not like an unfinished kind of neck that feels like it has no finish. It's got a nice layer on there of satin. It's really smooth. I do like it. These tuners are sealed tuners, and they're not bad, actually. I don't particularly mind them one bit, okay? So stock, it just clearly doesn't have the reliability of, say, my Fender Strat, okay? But does that discredit the guitar as a beginner instrument? No, because as a beginner, you know, you want to begin with something, yeah, that holds up and that's playable, but it really doesn't matter if it has optimal performance, because after all, you're not getting on stage just yet. You know, you have time to retune. So is this a good beginner guitar? Yes, it actually really is. But I'm going to give you two stipulations to that, okay? One stipulation is this: get a setup, okay? I mean, these instruments that are made way overseas, and then they spend time sitting in some United States warehouse, and then they're just shipped to you all of a sudden. They are not going to be in playing setup out of the box. Me personally, I'm just okay with setup. I tweaked this a little bit, but then I found, if I really wanted it to play nicely when I made the demos, I needed a little extra help. So I went to my buddy Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, for setting the guitar up for me, making it play very nice for me, and then also giving me some input about the instrument, which really helps for this video. When you get your guitar set up, it's just going to play better. The strings are going to be the right height. The neck is going to be the right level of straightness or bow, et cetera, et cetera. So if you have a local music store, or if you yourself have the skills and tools, or you have a good friend who does, just make sure when you get the guitar, make sure it has a good setup. Get a setup before you even really start to play it, because it'll make literally a universe of difference. Stipulation number 2 is the profile of the neck is good. It's nice. I like it. I like playing it. I think it's cool. That said, it's a little thicker, a little meatier than the general Stratocaster style neck. Strats are many people's first guitar. It was my first electric guitar, was a Squier Stratocaster, and they're particularly known for just being easy to play and just feeling great in your hands with a nice slim neck profile. Well, this neck profile is not as slim as what I'm used to with Fenders. Because of that, if you have really small hands, now I have about medium, large hands. If you have real small hands, like real tiny hands, like maybe you're 5 years old or something, it might not be as easy for you to put your hand around this as it would be for something with a slimmer tapered neck. Okay, so if you need a really nicely slim Strat neck profile, I really recommend just getting Squier, not some Amazon cheap brand, but Squier, because Squier is going to have Fender specs, and I find that the Squier Strat necks are always super slim and very comfortable to play. Okay, but if neck profile like that isn't such a big deal to you, then this is actually a really nice playing experience. I like the finish on the neck. I like the way the guitar feels to play. I really enjoyed making the demos today. So those are my 2 stipulations, but also you should know as a beginner, there's another reason that this guitar works great as a beginner guitar is because with this package, which I think is like a $150 total pack, they really hook you up with the stuff they give you. Okay, let me show you real quick. Like number 1, you get this amplifier with it, and I believe whichever color of the guitar you get, the amp's going to be the same basic color. It's not a dead-on match, but they're both blue. This amp is a 10-watt amplifier by VANGOA, and the funny thing about it is it's just not bad. I mean, yeah, you're not going to have the best switches and flexibility on it. There is a drive button, which is nice. It's 10 watts, but I found that it actually screams. Like, I plugged it up in my living room. I was impressed by how loud it could get. And then my brother was over here one day, and we jammed out for a second in here, and we just both plugged up into some cheap practice amps, and we could hear ourselves fine. So the amp's not bad. I wouldn't use it on stage, but if you're doing like a small jam with just a couple people or just for learning, the amp is absolutely fine, and it'll work just fine for that. You also get a gig bag strap. I mean, it's a cheap strap, but it's a strap. They throw in a tuner, a headstock tuner, which is pretty cool. And then they get pretty dang fancy with what they give you. Like, they throw in a capo, 2 Allen keys, the Allen wrenches that I assume would be the right size for the truss rod and saddles. They throw in a couple VANGOA picks. I see about 3 of them here. Then also they throw in one of these rags, which for me, I could never have too many of these laying around. And not only that, but they throw in an extra set of strings for your guitar. So if you break a string and you don't want to go to the store and get strings, VANGOA already has you covered. So honestly, if you're a beginner, which I don't do a lot of videos for beginners, but if you're a beginner and you want to check this out, they hook you up with everything you could possibly need. And so I'd say if you're a beginner, go for it. Just get a setup. And if you have tiny hands, go with something slimmer. Let's listen to this guitar. So I'm in a rock mix. It's going to be almost completely the bridge pickup in this demo. And for today's demos, I'm actually running it through a pro piece of gear, the Line 6 Helix LT. And the patches that you're hearing in the Helix are my own patches. So if you like them, check out the link in the description of this video and go get some of my patches for yourself in the patch store. Okay, the patches will work with Helix LT and with Helix Floor. Pretty cool. So let's listen to this, and then we'll talk a little more about this guitar when we come back. So question number 2 being, can this guitar be something more? Yes, it's a good axe for someone to begin playing on, and the package really hooks you up, but can it be something more? Can I take this cheap guitar and use it as a platform for modding and pimp it out a little bit and make it into a great guitar? I've gone back and forth a little bit, and then I consulted my tech Jeff some and came to a decision on that. And the answer is no, it can't be. And I'm going to tell you some reasons why. This neck is, as Jeff put it, wonky. All right. It's not a fully straight neck. And when I say fully straight, I don't mean straight as in the truss rod or, the bow in the neck. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to the wood itself. It's not straight wood. Up here toward the upper frets, there's just a big hump in the neck. It's hard to detect it with the unaided eye, but it's just kind of a humpy, wonky piece of wood, and it's just it's not worth playing on, and there's really no way to fix it. So a neck that is incurably out of shape is just never a good thing. It's a very bad thing because that makes it unusable. Then in addition to that, down here at the bridge, we have the screws for intonating the guitar. Well, at least one of those screws is completely stripped, and that would be the low E string screw, and the others look like they're pretty worn down as well. But it's a strip screw, so you can't intonate the E string. You would have to replace parts to do that, and in order to do that, you would have to first get this saddle out of here. It would be a big pain, and a guitar that cannot intonate is 100% useless. Really what they do, guys, is, they give you a body that's all right and it's got a cool, finish on it. But then they throw a really, untempered, just cruddy neck on it, and then some cruddy hardware, and then some bad electronics. These ceramic pickups, there's a few positions that if I, play it EQ'd a certain way that I can get kind of a cool sound out of it, but mostly they mud out. They sound cheap. They're not pleasing to the ear. The electronics are noisy, and it's like, really, like we talked about a second ago, is if you wanted a modding platform with this guitar, really all you've got is the body. You would have to just completely gut it, and you would have to just start with a blank body. So can this guitar be something more? Does it have some cool potential that you could use it as a great modding platform? In my view, and in others' views as well, absolutely not, guys. Don't waste your time here, okay? Please don't waste your time here. And if you would say, Rumble Man, man, I need a guitar. I need an electric guitar or a strat. I've got $150 and this looks like, my best option. I would beseech you, bro, and I would say this, please, dude, just wait a little longer and save a little more. If you can double that $150 and get around $300, if you can, there are so many better options. The Earl Slick guitars, the C&Z audio guitars make some amazing stuff. Please hang in there and save up a little more. Don't waste your time with these cheap, knockoff overseas Amazon, brands that have logos that look like this. It's just poor quality control, very poor quality control, poor parts. Okay. If you want to mod something, get something that's a well-known, better platform like a Squier or an SX, something that's well built. Or if you need a guitar, get something, a Slick, whatever, but please don't waste your time. If you're an experienced player going to be using this thing for real, please don't waste your time with VANGOA or any of the companies like VANGOA. So guys, coming up on the Rumble Man channel, we're going to be reviewing a very cool bass guitar next. And then after that, my Telecaster Tone saga continues. I wasn't happy with the stock pickups, and I wasn't happy with the affordable upgrade pickups, but I think I've found a solution that's going to make that Telecaster of mine sound incredible. Okay, so we got cool things coming up, and we have a very good time here, guys. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much for checking out this video today and following my content. Please make sure you subscribe, give me the thumbs up, hit the bell, etc. And let me know in the comments, what are your best victory stories with cheap guitars? Have you done any mods out of a fairly cheap guitar and made it sweet? I would like to know, okay? Thanks so much. God bless you guys, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace.